Let's do this. This movie had Chris Evans, Pedro Pascal, and Dakota Johnson. And it still didn't work. Let's talk about Materialists. I recently made a whole video on about how rom-com genre in Hollywood is practically dead. And after making that video, I saw the trailer for Materialists. Even though I did so much research for that previous video, even though I had so much evidence in front of me, I was still back to square one. Because honestly, from the trailer of Materialists, it had everything going for it. It had an amazing cast, it had a good studio, it looked like it had budget, and it looked like it would have an intelligent plot. And I was genuinely excited. I really wanted to be proved wrong. I wanted Hollywood to make a comeback in the rom-com genre. But boy, was I wrong. It looked like between the lighting, the vibes, and the mood that the movie was going to set, they forgot to actually write a plot. Materialists is not a rom-com. It's not a drama. It's not even a satire. It's just a beautifully styled mirage, like all vibes and no substance. It's not a slow burn, it's a slow blank stare. I was really confused up until the interval. I thought maybe I was the one who's not getting the movie. Maybe I was the problem. I kept waiting for the plot to happen, for something so amazing, so breathtaking to happen that, it would just make me go, wow. And wow, it did. Like half the movie feels like it's setting something up, but then it just doesn't. No payoff, no escalation, no plot whatsoever. The movie had the emotional urgency of a LinkedIn message. Now let's also talk about the love triangle, the USP of this movie. The cast. I still agree that it was an amazing cast. They had good chemistry together. It's just the writers didn't really give them a chance to do anything with that chemistry. First of all, where is the tension? And I'm not saying that the tension wasn't there between the actors. The full cast is never even in the same room exchanging a dialogue. I don't even remember even one exchange between Chris Evans and Pedro's character. That's the whole point of a love triangle. Where was the love triangle? Pedro is basically non-existent after the first half of the movie. In the second half, he just shows up for one scene, which is the breakup scene. And Chris Evans, he's there, but he's just there as a plot device. And Dakota Johnson. If two of the three main characters are used as plot device, then the main character would be amazing, or she would be on some sort of a journey herself, or finding true love. But no, her character was so passive throughout the movie. I can't even. It looked like she was an extra in her own movie. And also one other thing that really got to me, even though the movie is named Materialists, is how every conversation goes back to money. The studio has gaslit us into believing that it's a rom-com. It's been marketed as a rom-com, or at least a romance movie. But throughout the movie, there is no romance. We see that Chris and Dakota's characters were in love at some point, but we don't really see any happy part of their relationship. All we see are fights, which is also probably one or two fight scenes from what I can remember. The other part of love, supposed love in this movie, is Pedro's and Dakota's relationship that starts budding. And that's clearly just infatuation. So no, there is no romance in this rom-com movie. And instead of romance, what we got was talk about market value, marketplace. And honestly, after a point, I wasn't really even rooting for love anymore. I was just hoping for either of the characters of Dakota or Chris to just get their life together and open a fixed deposit account. And let's not really forget the film's biggest swing. It starts off in the Stone Age era, where this caveman is bringing flowers for a girl he likes, a cave woman he likes, right? He brings the flowers and shows it to her. this is my love. And what she does is she opens his bag and checks out his tools. She sees that he loves her and she sees that he's a reliable person who can provide for her. And that's when they get married or whatever. But if you see that in a movie hall where you just paid to watch Chris Evans, Dakota Johnson and Pedro Pascal in a modern setting rom-com, you would think you're in the wrong hall. And that's what happened with everybody sitting around us. And the start was a little awkward, and then they also tried to pay it off in the end by showing these two characters again. And they also try to say it, all these things don't matter, love is above all of that. They start with something else, but they end with that. But during the middle, the whole movie, there wasn't even a single point where I felt any love in any of the scenes. And this is supposed to be deep. I'm not here to write a thesis. I was here to feel something, to at least be entertained. It just felt like they googled symbolism and put up the first thing they could find. And I've been ranting here for about a while, and why I am this angry is because I didn't really get hyped up just because I saw the trailer. Of course, the trailer was a big part of it. Materialists has an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. 87! And that's why even till the interval, I did not lose hope. But after the interval, I started questioning myself. Maybe I am watching some other movie and people on the internet and all the critics who have rated it on Rotten Tomatoes have just watched some other movie. But then I googled how Rotten Tomatoes actually works. And it turns out it doesn't really measure quality. It just counts how many critics thought it was fine. But honestly, 87% is still a very high score for that sort of a rating system as well. I guess people just like pretty things. Score doesn't really mean it's good. It just means it isn't bad enough. And I can't really decide if it's better or worse. Rom-coms are supposed to leave you with something. Hope, warmth, or at least vibes. This one left me with dread, literal depression. I walked out of the theater literally feeling depressed. You've got characters in their mid to late 30s with no real direction, a love story that barely exists, and an emotional arc of a Word document. By the end of it, I was honestly just thinking about my credit score. And not in a cute way. I really was rooting for this movie. I mean, the cast, the title, the production, even the story premise had a lot going for it. I really thought it could be the one. I mean, it's shot like it belongs in the classic rom-coms era. But Materialists isn't a rom-com. There's no rom, there's barely any com. There's no drama, there's no plot. I just felt that I really should have stayed home for the night. In the end, it's true to its name. All surface, no soul. And honestly, I don't even know what I want to rate this movie. I mean, I could rate it a 3 on 5 and contribute to the false narrative that it's a good movie just on paper. But I really was frustrated about wasting my time. So I'm gonna give it a 2 on 5. I had a lot of more negative emotions after the movie than any positive ones, and those two not in a good way. I was just annoyed at wasting my time. So yeah, those were my thoughts on the movie. If by chance you liked the movie, do explain it in the comments below. And if you're somebody like me who's also annoyed from what should have been the rom-com revival of 2025, let's bitch about it in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.